What's a podcast? I like your show.
How did I get here? Welcome to the Shipe Sports Show.
Good evening, sports fans. Welcome to another episode of the Shipe Sports Talk Show. I'm your host, as always, Matthew Shipe, joined always by my co-host and producer, Paul.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Chris.
How you doing tonight, Paul?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Joined always by the best co-host in the business, Chris. Chris, how are you doing?
What's going on, guys? Hey, Paul. How's it going?
Good, man. Good.
Are you feeling better? I remember you were sick last week.
I am feeling a little bit better. I just have this, pretty much like the whole sickness is gone. I just have like some cough things going on. So hopefully that
Well,
goes away
that's
soon.
good. As long as you're feeling better, that's what matters.
Yep.
That's good.
And Anthony is not joining us tonight, as he, I believe, is at a, was it the KHL? Is that what the minor league one is?
Oh, I don't know.
Was that hockey?
Yeah, it's like the minor league system. I think it's
Oh,
the KHL.
okay. Yeah, I got you.
He's at
That's
one,
cool.
he's at one of those games tonight.
That's
So,
pretty neat.
That's
tonight-
what's up.
Yeah. So tonight we have a little, sorry for the mess behind me. I had to switch my rooms because everything's getting situated in my house now. So that's why you see the mess of the basement. So tonight we're going to talk some Champions League to begin with. I had a couple, I guess you can say blowouts, Chris, as we can say.
There was definitely one. There was
Uh,
definitely one.
I think you can. No, I think you can say two. Count what happened. Yeah, I would count that
That's
as a
true.
blowout.
That's true. Bayern Munich did put some points.
Put some as an understatement. Then we'll get into, I wish I had my Bayern Munich jersey. I don't know where I put it at now. Yeah. And then we're going to talk some local DC sports. Want to talk some Kirk Cousins real quick. Today's the first day that you can do the franchise tag. We already saw, I think, one big name get released, Mario Williams. So we'll get into that. And then we're going to finish with our third installment of the mock draft. I mean, I think it looks like becoming a weekly thing. It's that time of year where people want to see who can go where. So we'll get into that. So let's get started with the Champions League. Chris, your favorite team, Barcelona. Can they do it? Is it going to happen?
I follow Neymar on Instagram, and he posted something saying if there's a 1% chance, we have a 99% faith in ourselves. So if anyone can do it, I think Barcelona can definitely win 5-0 at home.
Now, if, let's say, PSG gets one goal, do you think it's
it.
over?
It's
You
game
think
over.
that's it? You don't think they
It's
can put
game
up sits?
over.
You got to put it in sits.
Exactly. No. Can we win? Can we get to 4-0 in regular time and take it into overtime and have the home field advantage? Definitely. I think we can do that. It's not impossible to see a 5-0 win for
Never happened,
Barcelona
though.
at home.
I'm
But-
saying
but-
Champions League, it's never happened.
Exactly. And that's the difference. That's the difference is when you see something like that, as Barcelona playing, a team that's basically on relegation to go, into the second tier. But Champions League is different. You're facing the top team of a different European league. So it's very difficult. Actually, it's impossible because it's never happened so far. But if anyone has a chance, I think Barcelona has a chance to do it.
Now, here's a question for you. Barca comes back, let's say they win 5-4.
Right.
What's the better comeback? The Patriots or Barcelona?
Oh, gosh.
Or what's the better comeback?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I would say I would say Champions League. I would say Barcelona coming back 5-4.
Now, here's even the bigger question. Worst collapse. Would it be PSG, the Golden State Warriors, or the Atlanta Falcons?
Atlanta Falcons, I'd have to say, because they had that game. They just needed to make a couple more first downs, maybe run the clock more, kick a field goal, game over.
Now, here's the funny thing. Let's say if Barcelona does come back, there's going to be a meme that's going to be like, Barca may have came back to win, but don't forget the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead.
Of course.
That's always going to be a meme.
For the next few years, we're gonna see the Cavaliers, or not the Cavaliers. Yeah, the Cavaliers came back from 3-1, or
Don't
the
forget
Warriors
the
blew
Warriors
a 3-1. Definitely.
In other news, Dortmund lost 1-0, so they're not out of it yet.
No, definitely that's a winnable game that they can definitely go and take it the next round for sure.
Crazy how much playing time Pulisic is getting there from USA, man. It's awesome to see him. He's getting a good amount of playing time over there. I think he's up there with the assists on the team. I believe
he needs it. He needs it. So I think anytime a star player can be in a league like the Bundesliga and be a starter, I think that's
What's
gonna
even
definitely
crazier
give.
is how young he is. I think he's 18
Yeah,
still. Yeah, can't even drink. I mean, he can drink there, but not here yet. Isn't that funny?
that is kind of funny.
Comes
Yeah.
back home for the break, and it's like, hey, man, you want to go for a drink? I can't. Goes to Germany. Let's go out.
Is there another first round game that you're interested in seeing? I mean, we just saw half of the games over the past couple
Well, real quick,
days.
before we get to that,
Yeah.
uh, Arsenal, I think they're pretty much done. I think Bayern Munich, they're up 5-1. I'm sorry. I mean, unlike Barca, I mean, I said Arsenal is not Barcelona. There's no way you can
No,
come
they're
back.
not.
Bayern Munich is just on a completely different level. It's like they may, if even if they struggle in the German league, it seems like in the Champions League they always just shift another gear.
Mm-hmm.
And then Real won 3-1. I see them probably cruising to that.
Mm-hmm.
So next week we're gonna have Byron 04. Dude, I can't even say it. I'm German. I can't even say it. Leverkusen? I don't know.
What are you? I'm sorry, I wasn't
For
looking
next
at.
week's Champions game.
Oh, Leverkusen.
Yeah. So we have everyone just says Bayern 04. They're facing
Yeah, Bayer
Atletico,
Leverkusen against Atletico.
and then Manchester City against Monaco,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have Porto, FC Porto versus Juventus, and then
Yep.
Sevilla versus Lancaster City. I want to see a Lancaster
Sevilla
Sevilla. Sorry,
and Leicester City.
Leicester. I'm messing up today. I want to see Leicester City. See how they do. They've been struggling in the
They have.
Premier League, but they're doing. I mean, they made it to the round of 16.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it'd be
Yeah.
pretty impressive for them. I would like to see them go one more round. But really, next week, nothing really stands out. I want to see how Manchester City does. They've been struck. They have their ups and downs, and see if they can pull something out here.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of weird to see the people on the top of the Champions League or the Premier League's nowhere to be found. Man, they didn't even get into the Champions League. Ugh.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. But Leicester City, it was a Cinderella story. Obviously, when they won the Champions League, it was almost 1 in a million chance that that would happen, and it did. And it was such a beautiful story. But at some point, they got to come back down to reality. And I think this week is the week that that happens.
And then we have in the Europa, Man United won 3-0. I think Zoltan had a hat trick, I believe, in that game.
Who?
Let me look it up. Zoltan. Isn't it Zoltan?
Zlatan?
I say Zoltan. I forget what the thing is from Dudes, Where's My Car? Well, Ibra did have the hat trick, so good for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
And then, Europa, it's really just a consolation, like, you didn't make it, so we'll give you this. But isn't it where if you get knocked out, in the Champs League and I think the opening round, don't you have a chance to still make the Europa, I believe in the group stage or something like that happened.
I don't know. I
'Cause I think,
I don't follow the
believe-
Europa League.
I'll have to look at that. But so yes, that's what's going on in the Champions League. So Barca's got to make the comeback. Arsenal, and then apparently Ozil came out today and said that Arsenal's been using him as a scapegoat somewhat this year, and he just came out and said, I didn't allow 5 goals. I played midfield. He's like, I can't stop 5 goals.
Right.
So I really think he's not going to be there much longer, to be honest with you, if he's saying stuff like this.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
good news for. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say the chemistry obviously isn't there, and he's probably not feeling wanted. So he's a freaking world talent. He could go anywhere and play well. So if for some reason they don't like him, I wouldn't have any reasons, or he wouldn't have any reason to stay if they don't like him.
I'll take him at Chelsea, but I would like to see him go back maybe to Germany and play. Maybe one of those. Maybe get on Bayern or
Maybe.
something like that. Because you see a lot of the German players, they stay in Germany and play.
Yeah,
I think
they're pretty loyal,
I think that's what really helps out. I think sometimes the German national
especially in the
team
World Cup. Yeah,
because a lot of
Because
them
they-
are on the same. I mean, they may not be all on the same team, but 3, 4, 5 of them will be on the same. Like Dortmund had Marco Reus, Matt Hummels before he left. I mean, they were all together. Now Hummels is over in Bayern Munich with Boateng, Philip Lahm. I mean, of course, he retired. Mueller. I'm sorry. I mean, all of them play with each other.
right.
I mean, the chemistry's already there if you look at it. I mean, some of the
That's-
few starters that aren't there right now is Tony Kroos. He's obviously in Real Madrid. Then Ozil, and then Khedira's not there. If you look at the starters, that's it. A lot of them are still over there.
Right, and the beautiful thing about that is every league has a different style of play, and the fact that they're in they're playing in this. They might not, like you said, they might be on the same team, but they're in
They're
the
playing
same
in the
league.
system.
They're saying the same system. They're playing in the same type of game, which it makes it easier for them to communicate on the field when they have to play together. So
And I think
that's
sometimes
probably a big leg up for them.
that helps out Spain a little bit. All of them being either with Barca or
Hmm.
Real Madrid, but this past
It's
World Cup
true.
it obviously was
It's
not the
true.
best.
Right.
They've been on a little bit of a downfall. I don't know if it's age or people are catching up to them or what it is, but Spain I think is going to be in some trouble because if we saw their under 21 team in the Olympics, they didn't look too good. They did
Yeah.
not look too good the last Olympics. So should be interesting to see what happens. Good news for Chelsea. Diego Costa just signed a new 5-year deal to stay there. There was rumors of him going to that super club in China. And you know what? I don't have a problem you going there to make money, but really you're going there just for the money. I mean, there's no competition. I don't like it. I feel like it's an easy way to make money. I mean, what are you going to do there? Really?
Well, let me ask you this then: would it be any different if he came to the MLS? It's the same kind of thing
I
where
guess same concept, but I think maybe we care more about soccer here a little bit. I mean, I don't know what China, I don't know what their major sport is there. I really don't. I know they go between baseball, basketball. I think is really big over there. I don't know if soccer's maybe is blowing up for them, but I feel like coming to the MLS maybe a little bit different because I think there's instead of having one big super team like what they have with that one team. I mean, the MLS players, they sort of kind of spread out when they come here.
right. Yeah, but it's the same kind of concept where it's not as high level of play, and the market here is obviously not that big, unless you're in a city like LA Galaxy,
New York.
or New York.
I think these European players that do come over here, they're helping the sport out a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're seeing more and more Americans, younger players under 21, going to Europe to play. Like we mentioned, Pulisic. We got Fabian Johnson's over in Frankfurt. I mean, they are not Frank. Yeah, he's at Frankfurt or Hamburg. One of the Frankfurt. I'm sorry. John Brooks is at Hamburg, I believe. So I feel like you're looking it up or something.
I was gonna look up who you were talking to.
I think it was John Brooks is the one that's over.
Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that.
But yeah, I mean, now you think about it, a lot of USA players are in Germany. Whether that was because of Klinsmann or not, we don't know.
Well, level of play again. You're not going to stay in the MLS and be as proficient or as skilled as somebody in La Liga or Ligue 1 or something like that.
Yep. All right, so that's our little soccer roundup for the week. I mean, we'll probably get more into that as we get, the Champions League is in full swing now again, finally, after 2 months. It was on a break.
Mm-hmm.
Premier League, all the major leagues are starting to wind down now. We're getting to the final stretch. Towards April and May is when you got to start getting those points. So, we're
Well, you only get 2 games. You gotta.
I'm talking about Premier League and everything. All those.
To get in there.
All the bigger leagues are starting to wind down too. So you got to start winning those. So we'll get into that. So first, before we get to Washington, the Redskins, that may take most of the DC sports time. Let's talk Wizards. Blew out Oklahoma City by almost 30 points. They did what you're supposed to do against Oklahoma City, and that is shut down Russell Westbrook. Didn't even get close to a triple-double. Had only 17 points. They had 4 rebounds, 4 assists, so they shut him down. It seems like they frustrated him a lot that game because not only was it John Wall on him, but if Wall got tired, then Beal stepped in, and then Porter stepped in. I mean, they were rotating people on him, and it seemed like he wasn't taking the shots he wanted to.
Granted, I would say there's a bit of an asterisk next to that game because that was the game after they played the Warriors.
Damn asterisk.
I'm just saying. I'll take it. A win's a win, especially against a team like the Oklahoma
I'll
City
take
Thunder.
3 televised games in 1 week and winning 2 of the 3. I'll take that any day.
Exactly. I'm just saying. I bet a lot of emotional energy was spent trying to beat the Warriors, and when they came to DC, they might have been a little tired. They might have been a little spent, and that's fine. I'll take it. A win's a win. A win's a win.
All right. So this week, Kevin Love is out for I think they said 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about this.
This is the time for the Wizards to start, they're going to be without Love. He's been, their corner piece, and not the corner piece, but you know what I mean, like one of the big three there.
Mhm.
Do the Wizards now with this out? Do they have a chance to maybe start climbing and chipping away this 5.5, deficit from first place?
It's possible, but I think the Cavaliers are a good enough team that they're not going to drop 5 games in a row. It's not going to
I didn't
happen.
say that, but maybe keep on. Now I do think the Wizards do have a chance before the season's over to catch Boston for that 2 seed, which would be
Yes,
nice because I want to be on the opposite side of. I want to be
I agree.
guaranteed on the opposite side of
Of the Cavaliers.
yeah. Tonight they play Indiana, which they beat a couple nights ago.
And they're winning.
They're up 20-6.
Yep, they're winning right now. So it's a nice little lead.
So Wall has no points, but he already has 5 assists, man.
That's
Otto
fine.
Porter tonight, 4 for 4 from the field, all 3-pointers. I'll take it.
Boom.
Take it. There it is, right there. Now you're the Wizards. I think at the trade deadline you may try to get a player, a sixth man. You may have to give up your first round or second round pick, but you can't get rid of any core players, any young players. But hopefully maybe they can try to make a move to help out the bench. But lately their bench has been a little bit better now. So
That's good.
I
mean,
do believe. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was just gonna say at this point, if you're gonna give up a prospect or a draft pick, and you're gonna get somebody to basically be that sixth man, I say let's do it. I mean, we're at the cusp of being like we talked for the past couple weeks in a 7-game series. If we had to face the Cavaliers, I only think we'd win 2 out of 5.
I think we can
And-
get 3.
Right, you're saying we can get 3, maybe 4, and if we can get somebody to come off the bench, and basically be that sixth man, be a game changer who can basically come off the bench and play like a starter, then we might end up winning 3-4 games out of 7, maybe even 5 games out of 7. Especially if injuries hurt the Cavaliers. Hey, let's do it.
I tell
Now's
you
the
what,
time.
even if the Wizards don't win the East, if we can get to the conference finals, it'd be a big step for this city. Now, I don't see that many people, starting to put up, let's go Wizards. I really think the city needs to start getting behind this team because something special is brewing here with this team, especially with the Capitals. This city is brewing now. You got the Nationals every year who are in playoff contention. Skins, up and down, but it seems like this city, something could be start brewing here for us, which would be nice. The city needs something.
Well, here's the deal. I think it's mainly for the Wizards that the Wizards need more help, more attention, more support. I mean, the Capitals have been good for a long time.
Wizards, they had 2 years ago. Well, actually, 2 straight years they were in the playoffs. Last year was a down year. They go out and get Scott Brooks, and he has all these guys clicking. And keep going. I'm sorry. I just want to mention one thing when you're done.
I was just saying, in recent memory, this is the best that this team has looked since freaking Gilbert Arenas was on this team.
I think it has a lot to do with Scott Brooks.
Well, I would probably agree with you. I mean,
There was
it's
a
something.
stat out. They had a stat out that said he's averaging more points per game with these 3 guys than when he had Westbrook, Durant, and Harden at the same time. Which I know people will be like, oh, different time. I take that as a compliment. That's pretty cool to see that these 3 guys are putting up more. I think in the past, I think it was over 20 games. They've scored over 100 points. It's like the most in the modern era in a while.
Yes.
I think since like a while I think it's like 20 straight 100-point games. That's impressive.
That is, and Brooks he's a great coach, like you said, and if that stat is correct, I haven't looked it up, I haven't seen it, but if that stat is correct, then this team is something special for sure.
Now here's my question for you. You see how well these 3 are playing with each other. Porter's going to want probably a Matt Steele. Do you give it to him to keep this core together? I feel like you have to. If they finish off strong and make the Eastern Conference Finals, how can you separate these guys? Because they can only get better.
Well, that's the thing.
You don't want to
I
make
think
the
it
same
depends.
mistake. I think if they make the conference finals, I don't think you can make the same mistake. And I think Brooks will realize this. How when they gave up Harden, maybe he's like, I can't make the same mistake twice. I can't get rid of one of my core players. Because the difference between, I think, these 3 in the Harden, Westbrook, Durant era, these guys know what their roles are. Wall knows, hey, I'm not a shoot first guy. I'm going to look for the passes, and if I get an open shot, I'll take it. Beal knows I'm the shooter. Porter knows I'm the sharpshooter. If I'm outside for 3 and I'm open, I'm taking it. I feel like these 3 are more confined. They know what their roles are than Harden, Durant, and Westbrook, because all three of those guys wanted to take the shot. They all wanted the 40-point game. Because we know Westbrook, yes, he better all around, but when him and Durant were together, they were both wanted to shoot the ball. You put Kevin Durant with John Wall in Oklahoma City and James Harden. This time, with the way John Paul's playing now, I think that could be a better fit because John Wall will look for those two guys more than what Westbrook. That's why I think this system works. Is these guys know their roles. Markieff Morris, he knows he's a rebounder, and he's a stretch four. Marc Gortat, he's down in the paint. He ain't going anywhere. He's going to stay down low. And then when he runs that pick and roll with John Wall, it's the best pick and roll in the game right now. And did you see the pass John Wall did last week against Oklahoma City with the between the legs, and he just jumped in the air like he knew it was already going in?
Yeah.
How sickening was that? That was just awesome.
That's how you know when everything's clicking. That's how you know when everything is going your way. He started
celebrating like even before he hit it. So if you make the Eastern Conference Finals, do you give Porter that max contract and Brooks doesn't make the same mistake twice?
That's the first thing I was going to say is if you think back to when Harden, when they had to make the decision on Harden and they let him go, basically, they didn't give him the money he wanted. I bet if he could do it again, he would fight harder to get Harden to stay. I really think he would.
Because that team would have been a better fit to challenge the Heat in that final than without Harden.
I agree, 100%. I mean, that team was so close, so freaking close to getting there and basically winning everything. But I don't think he'll make the same mistake. If the big if, it's still early.
If they go far in the playoffs, they keep this core.
Right.
Because Markieff Morris, I believe, is still around for a couple more. I think they got him for a couple of years.
Well, that's good. I mean, now, but I agree. You got to keep the core.
Obviously, if you do this, you won't have any room on the bench. But then, the bench guys do it. I mean, they do what they're doing this week or this year. And then you have a first, second round pick. Go out and find a bench player. There you go. Mm-hmm. That's what your draft is going to be. You're going to start draft. When you're later in the rounds for these drafts, you're drafting bench players. I'd love to see Melo Trimble come to DC.
How awesome would that be?
That'd be all. Hey, they took Steve Francis and Stevie Blake one year. Not Steve Francis. I'm sorry, Juan Dixon. I'm sorry.
Juan Dixon.
They had them both.
Yep.
So yeah, that's our Wizards talk. We're gonna keep going with this. Like Capitals. I mean, there's really not much to say about the Caps. They're still rolling. They're still winning. I mean,
they're leading the league in so many stats: points per game, save, power play, kill.
Backstrom's fourth in points by himself with 60.
Right.
Ovi's down there. Ovi's got 26 goals. He better get rolling. He needs 24 more goals. He better get rolling.
Hey, man.
What's funny is?
He'll take it as long as we win.
The funny thing is he'll start slow, but somehow he'll just pull together a couple hat tricks, and then he'll still get 50.
Right.
But, I mean, right now, they're just they're just killing the league right now. They have 84 points, and that's closest team in the conference. You got 77 Pittsburgh, Columbus, obviously. They're first all around and everything. So we'll see what goes on with them. Like we said, we can only hold our breath for them because once they get in the playoffs, it's a
whole new ball game. Whole new ball game.
So
I think I read something that we've only lost like 3 times in 2017, which is
combined
crazy.
Both teams?
What? No. The Caps.
Oh.
The Caps.
That means combined both teams. We've only lost 6 or 7, I think.
Really? The
Wizards only lost 4 or 5, I think, so far since turning the year.
Either way, right now it's a good time to be a DC sports fan, especially since the Redskins are in the off season.
Yep, but we got Nats real quick. We got Nats baseball coming around.
Yeah.
Right now, the only concern for the National is obviously the closer. Scherzer may not be ready for opening day. That little fracture he had on his hand, stress fracture. He's able to throw a tennis, lacrosse. He threw a baseball for the first time, he said today. Couldn't grip it the way he wanted to. He says he's not guaranteeing opening day, so that could be a big hurt. But, hey, we got Strasburg.
That's fine. That's fine. There's so many games in baseball. You don't need him to be there opening day. That's fine.
Give me 1 second. Since the turn of the year, the Wizards only lost 5 games. So in total, these teams have only lost 8 in DC.
8 games in 2017.
Well, like I said, combined record, these two are the best city sports right now in basketball, and they're beating San Jose and Golden State, and both those teams are respectfully in first place. Mostly probably because of the Capitals, but Wizards too. So
still,
it's it's funny. You know how Strasburg signed the extension last year?
Yeah.
This time, exactly 1 year ago, Scott Boras came out and said that he will not resign and he'll test free agency. Isn't that amazing? He ended up signing anyway, and it's because we took care of him.
Yeah.
We didn't let him get hurt, and they respect that. And Boras, he's Harper's agent, so maybe something can happen there. Who knows? I don't know. He may end up in pinstripes.
Yep.
God hope so. Him and Machado both. So
Hey man, none of us know the future.
that's really the only national news they have. The other news for the Washington Nationals is they're still interested in signing Matt Wieters, former All-Star catcher.
Saw
But they
that.
only want to give 1 year. I think Wieters
1
want
year.
more. Maybe after a week or so, no takers. Maybe he'll take the 1 year contract.
Exactly. I was gonna
And
say
he'll
that.
jump right into the starting lineup right away.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So now here we go. Before we get to our mock draft, you got to talk some Redskins. What do we do with Kirk Cousins? I'm going to lay you out. I heard this on the radio today on Chad Dutz. I want to lay
Okay.
you out 3 options. Excuse me.
Go
Now,
ahead.
these options are if Kirk doesn't sign.
Okay.
Do you start Colt McCoy? Or second one is you start Colt, but you draft a QB in the first or second round, develop him through midseason. Third option, you're going to kill me for this. You go and sign Tony Romo because they expect him to be released. Yeah, I know you're going to do that, but Romo, I don't care if you're a DC fan or not. You still got to respect. He's still not a bad quarterback. So out of those 3 options, what will you do if we lose Kirk Cousins?
Oh boy.
Yes. And when you do the draft pick, either you say first or second round, which pick you would use it on?
Well, first of all, I would hope that there's some way that we can agree to a deal with Kirk Cousins. Like you said,
We're not
like you
talking
said,
about that. Let's
I'm
do
just
the if.
saying.
Do the if.
I'm just saying. Let's hope that we can make a deal with Kirk Cousins. If I had to rank those 3 options, I'd probably rank Tony Romo option as last.
Okay.
Even though he is a good
Injury
quarterback,
prone.
he's just injury prone. If we were just one piece away from winning a Super Bowl, I would say let's give it a shot. But I think with our offensive line and other key issues that are missing, I don't think he's just one hit away from ending his career. So I'd probably rank that as the last. I probably wouldn't go with somebody in the draft either, honestly, right now. I think there's too many other good defensive players out there.
Now let's say you let him go, and let's say Deshaun Watson is there, or Kaiser from Notre Dame is still there.
Not in the first round. Let's just say that.
Even if Deshaun Watson's there.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Okay.
I think there's too many star players on defense available to make an immediate impact. I'd rather definitely pick somebody who can come off the edge, or someone who can help out our secondary than someone like Deshaun Watson, who's everyone's kind of split on him. You know, people are saying he's a winner, he's clutch, but if you watch some of his game film, I mean, he's missing these receivers by a mile. So I wouldn't say that he's ready to start game 1. So I probably would rank that as the second option, is to draft a quarterback. If Kaiser or Watson are available in the second round, maybe take a shot. But I think right now, worst case scenario, we start Colt McCoy and we get some type of veteran quarterback as a backup, or someone to compete with Colt McCoy to maybe get the starting position.
Okay. All right. Now let's talk about Kirk. Obviously, they either got a franchise or they got to sign him. I really don't think you can go with any 3 of those options. You got to get it done. But it's going to come down to money, what he thinks he's worth. Because if the Redskins don't sign him, someone's going to pay him. He's going to get a monster deal from somewhere, and he'll probably get 25, 24 million. It's almost a guarantee from wherever he goes. Depends on if maybe he takes a hometown discount. But here's the problem:
He already said he would.
they've disrespected him so bad. Do you blame him for not doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you blame him?
No.
I don't. He's been
Look,
disrespected.
it's a
I mean,
business, man. It's a business.
but
it's
if
a
they hadn't
business.
treated him the way they did, with saying, "Oh, we don't think you're worth one last year" or whatnot, do you think maybe his mind has changed? But the fact that they haven't ever came out and said, "This is our guy," do you think that's what's really getting him right now?
Yes, and I think it could also even go back to when RG3 was the quarterback. You know, he probably knew, or obviously he knew, but he thought within himself that he was the best quarterback. And Jay Gruden was brought in to groom RG3. He wasn't brought in for Kirk Cousins. He was groomed. He was brought in to groom RG3. So right there, it probably just didn't start off right. What do you think?
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, obviously they all thought RG3 was going to be, they were started calling him our Jesus and stuff like that. Didn't turn out the way they did. But
No.
yeah, I mean, I think Kurt's showing that he was the better quarterback. He's better than a top 20. Someone said RG3, well, he got hurt, so I guess we really can't
Yep.
judge that. But he's not going to be the quarterback in Cleveland this year probably anyway, so he'll lose his job again. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with
We'll
Kurt.
see, man. We'll see.
I mean, I'm hoping he
It's still
signs.
early.
You guys need him. I mean, now here's my second question for you before we move on to mocks.
All right.
Would you rather have Deshaun or Pierre?
I don't know, man. That's
pick,
tough.
You got to pick one. Gun to your head. You got to pick one.
If the contracts were the same, I'd probably pick Deshaun Jackson. I just don't feel like we're utilizing him as best as we can. You don't have to be a big possession receiver to be an outstanding and productive receiver. I mean, Julio Jones, as we all know, is one of the best receivers in the league. But if you put Julio Jones next to Antonio Brown, they're not the same people. Julio Jones is a tall, tough receiver who can get up, jump up, and get the ball, catch it in the middle of the field and take a hit. Antonio Brown, he's a shorter guy. He's a skinnier guy. He can, and he'll
kill you with cuts.
Exactly. He'll kill you with a different type of game. And I feel like all we're doing with Deshaun Jackson is just throwing a deep ball, deep ball, deep ball. I think we have the ability to use him in a crossing route, or just a quick screen. We just got to find ways to get him the ball because he's a game changer.
All the years he's been here, he hasn't really taken any punt returns.
Well, I think we want to save him.
Of course, but the dude is a game changer on that part of the field.
Yeah,
I mean, the one time they did give it to him last year Monday night, he kind of screwed the pooch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so
I would keep Deshaun Jackson because I feel like it's much harder to find somebody with that type of game-breaking speed. Someone who can pretty much change the game in one play. Pierre Garçon is a great receiver, don't get me wrong. But if I had to choose between the two, I feel like it'd be easier to replace Pierre Garçon than it would be Deshaun Jackson.
Okay. All right. So now, speaking of talking a little bit of draft, let's move on to our mock draft 3.0. Starting after this week, this will be a bi-weekly thing. We'll come out with one right up to when we do our final mock draft, which I'm going to do a little funny little thing here where I'm going to randomize some numbers and we're all going to pick that team, which is going to be interesting because
that'd be fun.
Because we may have to think on the fly. I may have a team that I want in front of you, and then you may take them. So I think that could be very interesting. So we're going to do that probably the week before the draft. So let's go ahead real quick. Before we do a mock, a thing came out today where one NFL, we're talking about all these other quarterbacks. We're talking about, Mahomes, Trubisky, Watson. An NFL exec came out today and said the best quarterback in the draft is California quarterback David Webb. He was a Senior Bowl MVP this year, same as Dak Prescott. So I haven't heard much about this guy till today. So my mock draft in 2 weeks, he may be a part of now the round 2.
Okay, maybe.
So, all right. So let's get into our mock drafts. We'll do our top 5 again, and then we'll do the main pits. I do have a couple changes with the Redskins. I do have one change in the top 5. Couple of changes. I have first off, I have Myles Garrett once again going to Cleveland. Chris, I'm sure you have the same thing again.
I do.
Yep. Then I have Jonathan Allen going second to the 49ers because I still believe they're going to go out and trade for someone. I have Mitch Trubisky going to the Bears. Malik Hooker now going to the Ohio State. I think I had Cook there for a while, so I changed that. And past 2 weeks, I've had Tennessee Titans taking Mike Williams. I kept thinking about it. I saw the other 3 receivers in this draft. I feel like you can get him another receiver later. I am now going with Marshawn Lattimore, cornerback, the best one on the board, going to Tennessee because I feel like, with the run game we have, we can sacrifice someone like that. And I mean, we may go out and get Alshon Jeffries, Pierre Garçon, or someone like that.
Right.
So I feel like take the best defensive back, and I'm going with Ohio State's Marshawn Lattimore.
Mm-hmm. I can see why you would do that. I am starting off the same as you, Myles Garrett. Last week, I believe I said the 49ers need a quarterback, and I said Mitch Trubisky, I think, was going to be the one that they picked. But from what I'm hearing, I think they might be looking for more of a veteran presence. So if that's the case, then I think they'll probably take the lineman from Alabama, Jonathan Allen. I think that they need some help on defense, a lot of help. So I think they'll take Jonathan Allen. The Bears, I'm going to go with Jamal Adams. I also thought the Bears were going to go for a quarterback, but, you know, I'm not 100% sold that these quarterbacks that we're talking about are top 5 picks. So I think, like I said, this defensive, this is a defensive draft. I think there's a whole bunch of talent on defense. So I'm going to go with Jamal Adams from LSU. The Jaguars, I read somewhere that the Jaguars might end up taking Leonard Fournette. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. I think they'll probably go with Marshawn Lattimore. Actually, I'm sorry. That's the wrong. I was thinking Malik Hooker. I'm sorry, because I felt like they need help at safety. I think they spent a lot of money on defense. I think they're going to keep going on defense. I think that's what their focus is. And then the Titans, I agree with you. I don't think they should take a wide receiver this early, especially since they have another pick in this round. I'm going to stick with my original pick, which was Reuben Foster from Bama. I think he's the best linebacker in the draft right now, and I think he's the one that can make an immediate impact.
All right. And then after that, I had the Jets at one point taking Deshaun. I have them now taking Jamal Adams.
Who'd you have for the Titans at 5 again? Is it Lattimore?
Marshawn Lattimore. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I had him. I had him there as the possible second option. So.
I changed my Panther pick from an offensive lineman to. I'm starting to agree more with you guys with Leonard Fournette. I feel like they're going to need a running back. I have the other running back. I have Dalvin Cook going to the Eagles, and I do have Mike Williams going 13 to the Cardinals. Larry Fitzgerald is going to retire soon. They lost Malcolm Floyd. I think Williams there would be a really good learning. Other Larry Fitzgerald would be great for him. I have then
they lost Malcolm Floyd, and he could step right in and play right away, and to be under somebody's wing like Larry Fitzgerald. What more could you want? One of the best receivers in the game.
I do have Watson going 10 to the Bills. I have Browns with their second pick taking Kaiser. I have the Redskins. Let's talk the Redskins. I have them taking Tim Williams, linebacker from Alabama. It's an Alabama defensive player. We saw the impacts they make. And Redskins, they have no linebacker depth. They have nothing. We saw last year that was really killing for them. So I have them taking that. And then I have the Titans taking Corey Davis from Western Michigan. I have them taking him because a lot of people are saying he could be the best receiver in this draft. Yeah. So what do you have for the Redskins at 17?
I didn't change. I didn't change my pick at 17 for the Redskins. I think they'll take a lineman. I have Malik McDowell. My question to you, though, and this is because I've been since the first draft. I've started looking at a few other mock drafts. Where did you have Deshaun Watson? Do you have him at 10?
Yes.
To the Bills. Okay.
Have you seen the one with him going to the Giants?
No, I don't think I've seen that one.
There's one I see him go to the Giants at 23.
Well, I was going to ask you. I can't remember where it was or who it was, but I've seen him go as late as the second round. What do you think?
I think maybe teams will be skeptical because the last couple of years, with RG3, couple of dual threat, but I feel like I think he's better than advertised. I think we saw a lot in his character against Alabama, and the one thing that teams should like him over other quarterbacks, especially some of the league, is he didn't get any happy feet. And when I mean happy feet, I mean is when he was getting hit, he didn't get scared. Even him taking hits after hits in Bama, he was still staying in that pocket. He was taking those hits, making some of those throws in that last drive. And a lot of young quarterbacks, college quarterbacks, they don't do that. They start running. If they have the ability, they do air throws to get out there. But the fact this guy was so poised and so confident in the pocket makes me think that he's more NFL ready than what people think.
Well, I think
that's a big thing for me with rookie quarterbacks. That's a big thing.
I don't trust rookie quarterbacks at all.
I know you. Well,
but what's crazy though also is that there hasn't really been a lot of every mock draft I've seen pretty much has taken uh, the same number one pick, Miles Garrett, but technically that's not a lock. You know, the Browns could end up taking a quarterback.
They
The
could take
Browns,
Deshaun.
the Browns could end up trading their first pick and getting 2 second rounders or something. You know what I mean? There's no.
They already have
This
two
was.
second-round picks. Do they need any more?
I'm just saying, like, what I'm saying is we don't know what's going to happen at this point. I mean, what year was it? 2 years ago with Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota, we knew that. We knew that already from the get go. We
And
knew
I
that the
loved
Bucks.
every minute of it.
We knew the Bucks wanted Jameis Winston, and we knew that not the Buccaneers, the Bucks wanted Jameis Winston, the Titans wanted Mariota. It was a lock. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like that. We have not very many rumors out right now, and it's kind of odd. It's kind of odd in my opinion. So one other question. You said Leonard Fournette. You're starting to think to agree that he might end up going to the Panthers, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about him possibly going to the Jets?
Who?
Leonard Fournette to Jets at number 6.
That could be interesting because if that happens, then I think Cook will move up and go to the Panthers.
Yeah,
And then
the
then
only
all those
reason I
teams that
say
needed running backs are going to be screwed.
yeah, definitely. The only reason I'm saying that is that the Jets need a lot of help everywhere. The Jets are definitely right there with the
Forte
Browns.
still looked good last year. I know he's weary legs and stuff, but excuse me, some of the games he looked like he didn't even lose a step. He had a couple of good games.
That's the thing. I was gonna say he's getting to that point. He's already at that point.
But I feel like they can wait maybe a year or two because I feel like they still need a lot more help. Because especially with the division they're in, with Tom Brady, I feel like you need to go out and get a strong safety that can lay some wood across the middle. Make those guys like Edelman and Amendola think twice about going across. You need a physical safety when you have to go against Gronk twice a year.
I gotcha.
You need a physical safety for that.
I'm just thinking that's a possible, because how many times are you going to be able to be in that position to possibly get a Leonard Fournette? You know, in the next year or two.
That's true. But you know what? A lot of people have Fournette, because he skipped that last game, and it's almost like, where's his heart? Where's his commitment at?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah. But I really think he would be a really great fit for the Panthers. I think that's where it would be ideal for him to go. But like I said, I think I've seen him go as high as the Florida Jaguars, because Jaguars have no running back. So. Yep.
Now, I do have the Colts missing out on a running back in the first round because the first two off the board, but I do have them taking one in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Christian McCaffrey, I had him wait until the second round. He was actually the first pick in the second round to the Browns. And then the Browns' second pick in that round, I had them taking Travis Rudolph. So I had them going, the defensive player first, and then quarterback, running back, wide receiver to get their core all ready to go. The Redskins in the second round, I had them taking a cornerback, Desmond King from Iowa. But that second round pick for the Skins could change, because if you lose both Jackson and Pierre, they may be inclined to take a wide receiver in the first round. But, because what's going on with Josh Dotson, that was a key. If he was healthy, then that's a no, you don't take a receiver now. You have to think about that.
That was exactly my next question. Is I've seen a couple drafts where I'm thinking defense. I really think we need help on defense, because our offense right now is clicking. And if we can, keep it relatively the same, what we need help on is defense. But I've seen a couple mock drafts where we end up with Corey Davis from Western Michigan. What do you think about that?
I hope the guy not, because I want him. Now we may have to move up in the draft.
Right. Well, you're at 18, right? You're right after.
Right behind you. I would, if he was still on the board and you would do that, I would throw my remote through the TV and be like, screw this.
Hey, man. Hey, our phone is wide open if you're interested. Just give us a call.
We don't have a second round pick. See what Tennessee is, they have those 2 first rounders. They may back out of 5 to get their second rounders, and who's a team that may want to 2 top 5 picks?
Who?
Cleveland Browns have 2 picks in the second round.
Okay.
They may give those up.
It's possible.
But I guarantee if Cleveland wants to jump back up to get, let's say Cleveland does take Myles Garrett, and they're like, okay, let's say no quarterback goes. Let's say, the Bears do what you said. They all take, no one takes a quarterback. Maybe they're like Tennessee, hey, look, man, we'll give you our second, and we'll give you number, what do they have, 12. if you're Tennessee, you jump on that. You take a second round pick and you take number 12 and you just go back. And then
Right.
there's still going to be a good abundance of cornerbacks, and there's Mike Williams at 12 probably for you.
Yeah.
That could be a big possibility. There's another possibility where New England moves up to get one of the big tackles or something.
Hmm.
The Redskins may. I mean, who knows? I mean, I think this is going to be a draft where I think we're going to see some moves. But I think right now the teams with the biggest trade chips that could do some stuff are going to be the Browns and the Titans, because the Browns have 2 first-rounders and so do the Titans.
Right.
And 2 teams that don't have first-round picks that could really have used them this year are the Rams and the Vikings.
Yep. I agree with you.
Because the Rams would have the 5th pick right now, and I can almost guarantee you they would have taken Mike Williams with that 5th pick. They need a receiver bad.
Yeah. They haven't had one. I'm really surprised that they signed Tavon Austin to an extension. He's a good player, don't get me wrong, but he's not your number 1 guy.
I really do believe that that with that 5th pick, the Rams would have taken help me out here. Now I'm blanking out. Would have taken Mike Williams. And then look at the Eagles. They don't make that trade with the Vikings. They don't have a first-round pick. The Vikings have that pick. So the Eagles, they got out of this first round. Now they're back in. And I tell you what, their trade is looking a lot better than what the Rams did.
Yeah. Because
Carson Wentz looks like an actual solid quarterback. Jared Goff, I don't know.
Yeah.
Should have taken Dak Prescott.
Well, I mean, they didn't want to start him. They really didn't. They wanted to have him sit and learn, and
they didn't have a choice.
But they didn't have a choice, and there was a lot of pressure.
Carson Wentz, I think, did pretty good for being a starter from day one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's like Joe Flacco, another guy from Division 2 or whatever, and actually not too bad. Now, Flacco needs to slow down on being called elite, but.
And I was just going to say they're also in different divisions. The Rams are in a much tougher defensive division. Having to face the Seahawks, the Cardinals. The 49ers were good in defense not too long ago, but they're not really much of a test. But the Seahawks and the Cardinals, those are tough defenses to face twice a year. Well, 4 times a year. Anyways,
agreed.
But
completely agree.
And Carson Wentz having to play the Eagles, not obviously he's on the Eagles, having to play the Redskins, the Giants, which have a much better defense than we give them credit for now. And the Cowboys, it's a little bit easier of a road.
Yep. So that's going to be it for our mock draft 3.0. Like I said, we'll be doing this bi-weekly up to a week before the draft, where I will give out numbers to me, Chris, and Anthony, and we'll do a live first round draft of all 32 teams.
Well, the combine is coming up soon, so I can't wait till we
we'll see
get
this
some
cut. We'll have
get some information.
And we're only about 4 weeks away, or 3 or 4 weeks away from free agency, so that's gonna be a big show. Let's see. It starts March 4th. Let's see. Hopefully our show's on March 4th. That'd be awesome. No, March 4th is Saturday. Woohoo!
Wow. Well,
I may have NFL Network on all day.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think the day before that, I think is when you can still do the little "they're gonna sign with you" thing, because they added that a couple years ago.
Verbal commitments.
Yeah, I hate that, man. It takes away the fun on the day. I don't like knowing. Like we knew about Sue. What was it, like day before?
I think so. Yeah.
I was like, crap, man. I want to know at 4 p.m. on. It's funny how it's gonna be 4 p.m. on a Saturday. It's gonna be like everyone's gonna be just chilling on a Saturday. Then 4 p.m. you're just gonna see a whole bunch of guys like, okay.
Yep.
Why is the girlfriend gonna be like, what are you doing? It's National Signing Day.
Or boyfriends. Never know.
Yeah.
Can't be sexist.
God forbid. Now we're gonna get taken off and sued and everything. Paul, delete that.
Oh gosh.
I think that's gonna do it for us today.
It's an interesting show. We've been doing this blind. I mean, that's what mock drafts are. You take what you think you would do in that position, and you go through the list. But I can't wait until we can get some actual information.
Once free agency's done.
Exactly.
The combine.
Then we'll get a much clearer view of what teams might be interested in.
And I really think when we do this mock draft live with us taking numbers and actually having teams, it's going to be very interesting, because I think some of us, we're going to panic. We're going to be like,
yeah,
like I could be with the Titans at like I said, 18. You could have Washington. You take Corey Davis, and I'm like, and Ross is gone, and Williams is gone. I'm gonna be like, crap, man. I'm on the clock. What are you doing to me now, Chris?
Right.
I'll end up taking some out of compulsion, some pick that I didn't need.
Yeah.
There is a lot of talk of the Titans at that pick taking O.J. Howard from Alabama, the tight end, and run the 2 tight end set with Delaney Walker.
Really?
Because Robinson, the GM, was up in New England. What'd they run a lot there?
Two
tight end sets.
2 tight ends.
And Howard, they said, is the guy who can play. Could be. We haven't had a Gronk type player in a while, and they said he could be a Gronk type player, which I'll take.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to do it for us. Stay tuned for a couple announcements later this week with the show. We may be starting something finally next week. So this show will be actually, I'll let Paul go, and then I'll stay afterwards. Go ahead, Paul.
Well, that's all right. You can go ahead. Yeah, just, you know the drill. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the show. If you haven't yet, go ahead and use the subscribe button. Follow us on Facebook, which is /Shipe Sports Talk. Twitter @Shipe Sports Talk, and Gmail shipesportstalk@gmail.com. So yeah, follow us on all the social medias. That way you can stay on top of whatever we put out. All the new shows, all the new content, you'll get notified right away. You won't miss a beat. That's all I got.
All right. Like I said, Shipe Sports Talk will be returning in 2 weeks. We're going to start doing the show bi-weekly. So we'll be back in 2 weeks with another mock draft. Hopefully some more Capitals and Wizards news. We'll be well into spring training. So you know what's coming up, right, Chris? What's coming up with spring training?
What is baseball?
What is baseball? That's for him. I'm talking about the baseball preview show, but that's okay. So we got that coming up, obviously. And also stay tuned. Mine and Anthony's new baseball podcast could be starting up in the next couple of weeks, so look out for that. So,
Nice.
And also OT3 on Monday, as always. And Paul, anything on Crazy Talk yet?
No.
Oh. All right, so that's going to do it for us. So for myself, Chris, and Paul, we will see you in 2 weeks on Shipe Sports Talk. Don't forget OT3 on Monday. Have a good evening, and go sign Cousins, Redskins.
Go sign Cousins.
Bradley Beal should have been in the All-Star.
See ya.
Good night, everybody.